It just... so tired of him talking like this.
He's made himself even more villainous, I guess, to kind of take...
I don't care what broke us up. We know that we weren't good together.
My duties as a husband, sort of putting up with things that frustrate me so deeply that...
fell in love with him. It was because he loved Meri and he loved his wives. It's not an act.
You won't believe the tea we're spilling today. From secret breakups to shocking lies, this is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, the Brown family's lives change forever. What if I told you the sister-wives drama wasn't only about love, faith, and family, but betrayal beneath secrets? Secret bank accounts. Silent payoffs. Life-changing medical decisions denied while someone else received a payday. The courthouse steps dim out. Cameras pop like lightning during a storm. Christine, Janelle, and Meri stroll side by side, no longer sister wives, but women who have finally made up their minds that enough is enough. Behind them, Kody Brown remains, red-faced, flustered, his tie askew as he hails in a whisper with Robyn. Between them, tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. But how did this come to be? What secrets pushed the Browns to the edge of financial and emotional ruin? And what is concealed in the files that Kody never hoped anyone would ever see? Tonight, we reveal the story that could destroy not only the facade of a family, but all that viewers thought they knew about sister wives. Stick with us, because it only begins here. To comprehend the magnitude of betrayal we are about to reveal, we need to go back before the cul-de-sac of shattered hopes in Las Vegas, before the desolate doubt of Coyote Pass. We turn back to Lehi, Utah, to the holy principle upon which the Brown clan was founded, the family pot. In an early episode, Janelle once described, "All our money goes into one account." We cover the cost of all 3 homes. Out of that, we cover food, cars, everything for the family. It sounded utopian, even revolutionary in our fractured era, a mutual financial agreement where no dollar was anybody's exclusive property. Janelle, the family's diligent bookkeeper, worked full-time. Meri made contributions from her own employment, and Christine, the home's anchor, handled the household budget. Every dollar they earned was not their dollar, it was the family's. This wasn't merely a budget, it was a bond, a sacred promise symbolizing unity and equality, the foundation of their plural marriage. A source close to the family during these early years, whom we'll call Esther, described it best: the pot was everything. It was a symbol of their unity. When one needed it, the family provided it. If a car broke down, the family repaired it. If a child needed braces, the family paid for them. There was no your money or my money. But trust is a delicate thing. And this covenant, once a lifeboat that kept them afloat, would soon be put to the test, warped, and finally broken. The 4th wife, and the first cracks when Robyn Sullivan joined the family in 2010, she also arrived with 3 children from a previous marriage and a debt mountain. "I do owe some money from my last marriage," she confessed in an early episode. Quite a lot of it, actually. The original wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine, had constructed their financial bedrock on decades of joint sacrifice. Now they were being asked to adopt the financial history of a newcomer. And in the spirit of faith and oneness, they said yes. Robyn's debt was now family debt. But soon, tiny inconsistencies crept in, small exceptions, quiet favors, special treatment. Robyn's house a little nicer. Her nights out with Kody more regular and more expensive. And then the first true crack. Esther remembers. Meri came to me one day. She wasn't upset, she was perplexed. There was a strict rule. Any purchase over several $100s had to be negotiated by everyone. But then Robyn appeared with a brand new laptop for her daughter, Aurora, a high-end model. When Meri asked how she got it, Robyn said, Kody approved it. Not the family. Just Kody. It was a tiny crack, but one that would only expand. Vegas, businesses, and buried tensions. The Las Vegas relocation in 2011 was a fiscal earthquake. For houses, for loans, and the burden of providing for 18 children. Janelle bet big on real estate. Meri went back to school and began her LuLaRoe business. Christine scrounged up ways to contribute while balancing childcare. They worked hard, sacrificing to keep the pot boiling. Then came my sister-wife's closet, the so-called family business that was supposed to unite them. In reality, it was Robyn's passion project, funded almost entirely by money earned by the other wives. When questions about profits or losses arose, they were dismissed. Requests for transparency were met with emotional pushback and Kody's anger. The venture struggled. But it gave Robyn one powerful thing: access. She now had rightful authority over substantial amounts of family money that, as this investigation finds, could have been drained for purposes far more sinister than a flailing jewelry business. Flagstaff and the financial apocalypse. If Vegas was an earthquake, Flagstaff was the apocalypse. The relocation, compelled by Kody's and Robyn's ambitions, left the family overwhelmed with rent, debt, and land squabbles. Janelle lived in an RV. Meri struggled along in a massive rental. Christine became frantic until she took the brave step and left in 2021. But it wasn't easy to leave. Christine had put in a lot of money. Her proceeds from the sale of her Las Vegas home went straight into the family coffers for use in buying Coyote Pass land. She needed her share. But Kody and Robyn refused, denying her money records. Then, with legal coercion, Christine's team finally secured years of financial reports. And within that box of papers was a revelation so stunning it would reveal not only mismanagement, but something much more malicious. A series of payments, tens of thousands of dollars, going not to the family, not to the kids, but straight into the coffers of Robyn's own family members. And that, dear reader, is where true betrayal starts. The secret ledger. It had all started with a rumor, one ledger of financial documents carelessly relinquished after months of courtroom battling. Christine had been waiting too long. But when the court finally forced Kody to hand over accounts of the family stash, the veneer of togetherness started to break down in her hands. Among them were bank wire transfers, wire payments, and mysterious withdrawals, transactions dating back years. They seemed normal at first sight: domestic bills, mortgages, bills, food allowances. But hidden among the pages were entries that made her heart shudder. Monthly payments, every month, with only initials. And those initials did not belong to Meri, Janelle, Christine, or any of the children. Rather, they referred to names Christine had come across previously on holiday cards, in mentions passing, relatives of Robyn Sullivan Brown. Esther, the insider, describes, "Christine said to me, it's not one payment. It's dozens. And not small ones, thousands. It's like a second pot inside the family pot, but it's only nourishing one branch of the tree." The pattern of favoritism. The more digging Christine did, the more patterns there were. Mortgage support for Robyn's parents. A loan to her brother, never paid back. Credit card statements for purchases that were in no way related to the household, vacations, or children. Jewelry, designer apparel, and, perhaps most concerning, cash withdrawals by Kody himself. Janelle, the bookkeeper at heart, was perturbed. Where are the receipts? Where are the approvals? That is not how we agreed to do things. But when she pushed Kody for explanations, he gave her a cold, calculating reply: "I'm the head of this family. I make the decisions." It was the start of a financial kingdom, one in which Kody and Robyn held court and the others just paid for their tyranny. The breaking point. The last straw came when Christine saw a huge transfer, $32,000, deposit into an account in Robyn's name, just 2 weeks prior to Christine declaring she was leaving. When she mentioned it, Kody waved it away as operating expenses for my sister-wife's closet. But the business had lain dormant for more than a year. Esther remembers, Christine wasn't angry, she was hurt. She had trusted Kody. They all had. And now, the man who had preached unity was funding an upcoming life with one wife, while the rest scrambled to pay their own bills and groceries. Preparing for war, Christine's lawyers started gathering the evidence, statements, transfers, inconsistencies, anything that told the story of financial impropriety. Meri was quiet, observing closely, as Janelle grappled between her allegiance to the family and the betrayal she saw in black and white. And still, in the face of all the accumulating evidence, Kody would not own up to wrongdoing. Worse, he doubled down, accusing Christine of greed and disloyalty, informing friends and cameras alike that she just wants out and she wants a payday. But the papers had a different story, one that would soon blow in a dramatic courtroom battle unlike anything the world of sister wives had ever witnessed. And as Christine poised to share the truth, one final find would stun her to her very foundations, a secret asset Kody never reported, connected to someone well beyond the family. The day of reckoning, the courtroom was hushed, so hushed you could hear the quiet whine of the overhead fluorescent lights. Christine sat at the plaintiff's table, her hands folded tightly, knuckles white. To the side of her, her lawyer laid out binders of documentation, bank records, wire transfers, and interoffice memos, every page a tiny betrayal put in ink. Kody arrived late, jaw clenched, eyes smoldering with outrage. Robyn trailed behind, holding on to his arm, murmuring reassurances as if this was nothing more than a misunderstanding, not a fight for years of hidden financial transactions. The judge, a severe woman with her hair drawn back into a tight knot, looked over the case file. "We're here to deal with allegations of mismanaging finances, especially regarding jointly owned assets built up during the course of this marriage." Her words sliced through the room. The first blow. Christine's lawyer stood up first, his voice firm but filled with restrained rage. "Your Honor, this is more than a fight over dollars and cents. This is about trust, honesty, and the breach of an agreement upon which a family was founded. We would show not only that money was mishandled, but that it was stolen, repeatedly and systematically, without permission." He started introducing exhibits, payment records, transaction summaries, and a timeline of a change in spending habits after Robyn became a member of the household. The figures increased in size, frequency, secrecy. Robyn's lawyer rebutted quickly, declaring these to be legitimate family expenses approved by the head of the household. But when confronted with producing receipts or records, she stalled, digging through empty files. The turning point next was the display Christine saved for last, a $120,000 wire transfer to an LLC in Nevada. The company name? Not known. The recipient? Not Robyn. Not Kody. Not anyone with the surname Brown. Christine leaned over, her voice little more than a whisper. "Tell me, Kody, who is Angela P? And why did you send her $120,000? The courtroom went silent. Robyn shifted uncomfortably, glancing around at Kody. He swallowed hard, his bravado for the first time in his life wavering. The name Angela P was about to blow open a secret that had nothing to do with jewelry businesses, family investments, or debts. It was something much worse. Secrets revealed. The air was thick with courtroom tension, each moment dragging in perpetuity. Christine's voice, steady but with an icy edge, sliced through the stale atmosphere. "Your Honor, this was not a one-time thing. It was a pattern. Money taken from the family fund, going into the hands of people who are not members of this family. People who never contributed, never sacrificed, and never rightfully earned this money." Kody fidgeted in his seat, nervously darting his eyes about. Robyn dug her nails deep into his arm, holding it tight, betraying tension she would not speak. The judge leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Christine's lawyer clicked through slides on a massive screen. Each showed transactions, bank statements, and memos, building to one inescapable fact: the family pot had been drained for years. And here the trail ended with Angela P. Who is Angela P? The judge snapped, voice cutting through the electric silence. Kody's lips parted, but nothing emerged. For the first time in years, the patriarch was left speechless, caught up in the evidence that could not be disputed. The lawyer continued speaking. Angela P. was directly linked to Robyn. More precisely, she is the trustee of a special trust fund created by Robyn's family. Drawings from the family fund, monies donated by all the wives, were channeled here in the guise of family support. Reality could not be further from what the other wives had been told. Reporters wrote furiously, pens racing across notebooks. Robyn's face turned white, her assertive stance collapsing. And these funds, the lawyer went on, were not trivial amounts. In a period of 5 years, tens of thousands of dollars flowed to Angela P. and related accounts, usually corresponding to big purchases or investments that were characterized as family business expenditures. Mrs. Brown, this is the account that ought to have kept the family afloat in times of trouble, but instead, it supported an unreported network that served a privileged few. Christine's eyes blazed with indignation and anger. Years of being ignored, financially excluded, and emotionally disregarded led to this. The truth was finally revealed. Robyn's lawyer stuttered to his feet, trying to explain the transactions. But the proof was incriminating, written down, repeated, and inescapable. Every ledger, every transfer, every memo indicted in the same way. The judge pushed her glasses up the bridge of her nose, her voice low but authoritative. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Sullivan, you'll be accountable for these transactions. And the court will make certain that any stolen monies are returned to their rightful owners. Kody's face stiffened. Robyn's gaze slipped down to the floor. For the first time, the fantasy of control had completely slipped away. And then came the last bombshell. Christine's lawyer paused, holding up a folder marked simply, Evidence X. Your Honor, he said deliberately, relishing the gravity of the moment, we only found this yesterday. But it may redefine this case entirely. It has internal mail and financials that indicate this operation is far greater in scope than what we had documented, and involves someone much closer to the family than anyone had envisioned. The room fell silent. All eyes in the courtroom landed on the folder, the words hanging in the air like a pending storm. Christine breathed in deeply, and the crushing weight of the discovery landed on her chest. Because what they were about to learn would not only reveal secret finances, it would reveal betrayal, manipulation, and a secret that would destroy the Brown family forever. The judge's gavel balanced in midair, suspended, as if the next sentence would determine the direction of their lives. And then the lawyer turned to Christine and spoke barely above a whisper for the record. Are you prepared to open it and see what's inside? Christine swallowed hard. She knew that the moment she opened it, things could never go back to the way they were. The courtroom breathed in anticipation. The folder that shattered everything. Christine's hands shook as she groped for the folder marked Evidence X. The courtroom closed in on her, the grumblings of the crowd sinking into an uncanny quiet. All eyes were upon her, but she was alone, poised on the brink of a discovery that would collapse all she had ever believed about her family. Her lawyer nodded almost imperceptibly. Take your time. Read it carefully. Christine opened the folder with a flip. Inside, there were piles of papers, spreadsheets, and printed-out emails. To the eye, at first glance, they seemed dull, transaction records, invoices, and memos, but then she saw something peculiar. The dates, the patterns, the recipients. All the big expenditures that had raised eyebrows over the years, payments on renovations, lavish gifts, even little business expenses, were recorded with meticulous care. And at their center? One name she never anticipated. Kody Brown. Not merely acquiescing, not merely cooperating, but actually plotting the diversion of funds. And it wasn't solely Robyn's clan profiting. These accounts showed personal transactions to a series of accounts belonging to Kody's larger circle, offshore and onshore, all in the name of family expenditures. Christine's stomach fell. She felt as if the floor had disappeared from under her. Years of trust, of shared sacrifice, of dedication to the family pot, it had all been manipulated, controlled, and exploited. Her attorney spoke softly, yet firmly, breaking her momentary paralysis. This isn't just about Robyn or her family anymore. This is systemic. This goes to the heart of who has controlled the money, the narrative, and the family itself. You've uncovered something massive. Christine's eyes scanned a highlighted email. It was a discussion between Kody and a money advisor of spreading assets for maximum personal benefit whilst keeping appearances. Each sentence shrieked of betrayal. Each number attested that the family tin had never really been split fairly. Her breath caught upon turning a page. Concealed inside was a letter scanned, handwritten, and signed, but clearly in Kody's writing, recounting a scheme to achieve financial independence from the original wives and share with Robyn as a partner in crime. The courtroom gasped as one. Even the judge leaned forward, her face unreadable but strained. Robyn's hands trembled, Kody's face had blanched, and his normally iron composure had disintegrated utterly. Christine's lawyer placed the folder on the table before the judge. Your Honor, what is before us today is not just mismanagement. It's outright financial manipulation. And we think these documents show only the tip of the iceberg. Whispers broke out among the attendees and reporters. Cameras flashed. All the people in the room knew that the Brown family's personal financial struggle had just been launched into public embarrassment. And then, at the very back of the folder, Christine discovered a loan envelope, closed and labeled merely, "Do not open until June 2021. She was paralyzed. June 2021. The timing coincided with a turning point family choice, one that had appeared to be a minor property deal at the time, but, in retrospect, had always had a curiously furtive feel to it. Shaking slightly, she raised the envelope. The whole courtroom was holding its breath, knowing that whatever was contained within could destroy every last fantasy of family, trust, and loyalty that had endured for decades. Christine glanced at her lawyer, whispering, "We need to open it." Her lawyer hesitated, the pressure of the moment bearing down. "Are you certain? Once we open this, there's no turning back." Christine nodded, her jaw clenched in determination. She cut open the envelope. There was only one USB drive inside, with a cryptic sticker. The truth. Play at your own risk. The courtroom fell silent as death. Cameras zoomed in. The press frantically scribbled. Everyone knew, whatever was stored on that USB had the capacity to ruin lives, reputations, and the very legacy of the Brown family. Christine clutched it tightly, her heart racing. She had uncovered layers of betrayal, deception, and theft, but this could be the biggest revelation. And then, just as she prepared to hand it to her attorney to examine, the courtroom doors slammed open. A figure stepped in, shrouded, a face concealed by a hood. The murmurs swelled into chaos. "Stop everything!" A voice thundered, echoing through the room. "You have no idea what you're about to unleash." Christine froze, the USB clutched tightly in her hand. The stranger's presence emitted danger, and the threat clung to the air like a sword. The secrets on the USB, the words of the hooded figure echoed in the courtroom, yet Christine found that she was unable to look away from the USB in her hand. Her heart was pounding like a drum, every beat repeating the tension within the room. She knew, in her heart, that this tiny device would either provide the answers to all questions or bring on a firestorm she wasn't certain anyone could manage. Her lawyer leaned forward, words hushed but insistent. "We have to find out what's on it. But with caution. This is explosive." Christine inserted the USB into a laptop on the lawyer's desk. The screen came to life, and a folder was visible, family_ledger_secrets_2010-2021. She gulped and opened it. Instantly, spreadsheets, emails, scanned receipts, and audio files crowded the screen. It looked familiar, records of household expenses, business records, routine transactions, but then one file caught her attention, Coyote Pass _underground. MOV. Christine opened it. The video cued, grainy initially, featuring Kody and Robyn in a poorly lit office, tallying piles of cash and inspecting banking reports. Her stomach rolled. The titles on the files said it was secretly recorded over several years, evidencing not only theft but repeated, intentional diversion of the family piggy bank. The video, by way of exposure, showed Robyn's family, yes, but also other unidentified accounts. Offshore transactions. Shell entities. Money diverted under veils of dishonesty. The magnitude was staggering. Christine's eyes grew wide as she comprehended this was more than the family pot. Next were audio recordings. Dozens of them. Whispers on phones. Encrypted conversations. Kody and Robyn talking strategy. How to keep the original wives in line. How to control the children's allowances. How to make it seem like everyone is getting a benefit while accruing secretly elsewhere. Christine felt a chill run up her spine. Every sense shouted betrayal. All the trust she had put into the family pot had been a deliberate ruse. But just as she believed she had glimpsed the worst, a lone folder in the USB flickered on the screen. Family_skeletons_final. PDF. She opened it. And what flashed on the screen made her gasp so forcibly it rang in the courtroom. This was no longer purely about money. It was full of personal secrets, proof of manipulation, and damning messages connecting Kody and Robyn to activities well beyond anyone's prior suspicion. Her eyes read across a page that made her blood freeze. It mentioned a secret trust fund established in Kody's name, under the sole control of Robyn, into which money was siphoned from the family pot and was traceless to the other wives. And then she came to the final page. It was a letter written specifically to future investigators, months before Christine took her legal action. If anyone ever finds this, you will know that all you have thought of this family has been carefully constructed. The truth is a great deal bigger and a great deal more sinister than you can possibly think. Christine's hands trembled. She raised her head. The figure in the hood had disappeared. Nothing had been witnessed by anyone in the courtroom. But the threat floated in the air like a guillotine. Her lawyer caught her eye, voice barely a whisper. Christine, whatever you do next, it alters everything. This isn't a family squabble anymore. This is dynamite. And someone already has eyes on you. Christine clutched the USB more closely. Her thoughts sped around in circles. She had discovered layers of deception, deceit, and hidden empires constructed on the sacrifice and sweat of everyone else. And now, she possessed the keys to a revelation that could bring down everything Kody and Robyn had created. Her phone began to buzz. A lone text message appeared. You shouldn't have opened it. They're coming for you. A friend. Christine went rigid. Her breath was arrested. Her heart pounded. She glanced up, and through the doors of the courtroom, she imagined she saw motion in the darkness, figures lurking, calculating, waiting. The truth was out, but the peril had only just begun. The watchers in the shadows. Christine's heart pounded as she exited the courtroom that day, USB held like a lifeline. Each step was leaden, each shadow suspect. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was following her, someone who knew exactly what she had discovered. Her attorney had warned her, be careful. This isn't just about money anymore. You've uncovered a network, and networks have protectors. But Christine had never felt danger this palpable, this immediate. Back at her temporary apartment in Utah, she laid out the USB on the kitchen table. Laptop on her lap, she started going through the documents once more, this time within the confines of four walls. Or so she believed. The papers uncovered layers of subterfuge that went deeper than she could have ever dreamed. Payments didn't end at Robyn's relatives, they tracked. Through no-trace accounts, shell companies, and even charitable contributions that were mere fronts for enormous transfers. Christine reclined, attempting to keep it all straight, when a gentle ping resounded from her computer. A new file had materialized on the USB. She hadn't copied anything, she hadn't been on the net. The file was ominously titled, next_move.pdf. Trembling, she double-clicked on it. The screen was full of one sentence, in bold red letters, you have been seen. Every action is monitored. One wrong move and everything is lost. Her phone rang at the same time. One message flashed on the screen, do not trust anyone. They are closer than you think. Anonymous, Christine's thoughts were racing. Who had sent this? How had they remotely accessed her USB? Her private sanctum no longer felt safe. She realized with a sinking feeling, Kody and Robyn weren't the only ones involved. Someone else had been orchestrating, observing, manipulating. The next morning, her attorney arrived with grim news. Christine, I've just received word. Surveillance footage from your apartment complex shows unmarked vehicles parked outside overnight. They didn't leave. Someone's watching you. Panic surged, but Christine knew she couldn't back down. Not now. The truth must be revealed at any cost. She and her lawyer agreed to contact a private investigator, someone capable of following the network and keeping her safe as she dug deeper. At dusk, Christine had organized a clandestine meeting with the investigator, one called Ethan Vale, who specialized in uncovering covert enterprises in high-stakes family feuds. He arrived quietly, a briefcase in hand, eyes sharp and unyielding. "Mrs. Brown," Ethan said, voice low but firm, "what you've stumbled upon is far bigger than a family dispute or even financial mismanagement. This is a web of control, secrecy, and influence. You've uncovered one corner. I suspect there's more, much more, hidden in plain sight." Christine swallowed. "What do you mean?" Ethan opened his briefcase and spread out a map of linked accounts, offshore companies, and shadowy players. "These payments aren't family money just for the family. They're part of an organization, and I think they go further than Kody and Robyn. Someone else, someone important, is using the family as a front." Christine's gut fell. Important? Who? Ethan did not respond at once. Instead, he placed a small envelope, sealed and not marked, in her hand. "Everything you need to know is in here. But be warned, once you open it, there's no going back." Christine glared at the envelope, her hands quaking. Her whole life, her trust, her sacrifices, all boiled down to this moment. She slowly, deliberately broke the seal. Within lay a sheet of paper and a name she never thought she would ever see. The mastermind. C. Sullivan. Christine froze. The initials were eerily familiar. Could it actually be who she believed? And if so, what had they planned all along? Her laptop pinged once more suddenly. Another fresh file showed up on the USB. Christine's fingers shook as she double-clicked on it. The shaky video showed a figure in the shadows, voice distorted, monitoring her through secret cameras. "You think you're in command, Christine. You're only seeing what we permit. Keep digging and you'll regret it." Her heart thudded. The truth was nearer than she had ever dreamed, and so was the danger. A car moved slowly beneath her window, its headlights slicing into the night like knives. And Christine was sure. She was no longer simply revealing secrets. She was caught in a game where any move could kill. This family's drama is far from over, so smash, like if you're #TeamWives. Subscribe for the next explosive update. And drop a comment below. Who do you think will win? Stay shady, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next scandal. Kiss mark behind TLC Sister Wives out.